クリード、今回だけだぞ。あ、グランドクロース。
Okay, so first and foremost, I did really like this episode of Berserk of Gluttony. I actually think this was one of the better episodes of Berserk of Gluttony. But before I kind of gush over episode number 7, before I talk about what I really liked about it, there is one thing that I want to say, is I do not like the fact of, like, Fate taking on this role of being this other character, right? He's taking on this other role, but while he's Fate, right, he's not this other character. He's doing it without his mask, and like the whole purpose of him was to go in and, you know, be this thing that, be this entity, right? Be this character, be corpse. And, you know, be this thing that's untouchable. But yet he's registered with the guild and getting money for being this guy. He's just a guy with the mask, essentially. And apparently, you know, the Holy Knights couldn't figure this out until now, that one of their buddies or their brothers or whatever is dead. And, you know, now he went around and he was parading around as normal without his mask and talking to a Holy Knight or former Holy Knight without his mask. And like, it just kind of makes the whole mask thing unimportant, right? I think that's a part of it. But then he has this power to where it's like, well, even if you don't want to hide yourself, nobody can really mess with you, kind of thing too. And it's one of those things to where it just kind of bothers me, this whole, like, am I wearing the mask? Am I not wearing the mask? Like, it kind of bugs me a little bit. So that's really all I have as far as gripes. This episode, though, I think this is what I wanted from Berserk of Gluttony, to be honest. Like, I wanted Fate to go and set out on an adventure and try and understand one of his 7 deadly sins, right? He wants to go out and understand this gluttony skill that he has, and he needs to adventure out and meet a bunch of different people who have maybe heard of these deadly sins before and get pointed in a direction and have really cool adventures and meet really cool people. And I think that's really what I want from it, right? Like, the first really cool person he met was mine. This episode, we learned that she's been around for potentially, centuries at this point. Still has a body, still requires sleep. So she's immortal in a way, but not completely immortal. She's just kind of stuck in her form when she took over this power kind of thing, not allowed to die, essentially. The old guy this episode talked about meeting her 50 years ago. I like how he, like, that's a good memory, bro. Like, talked about meeting her 50 years ago, and she's here once again. So now the next journey can be setting out to understand her power, what she brings, what she has, all this other stuff. So it's like, this is kind of what I wanted from this show, and episode 7 was kind of realizing that. We got to this random village. We met somebody who was extremely, extremely strong, was a former Holy Knight. And, when anime does old men or old people, like what they did here, old warriors, you should say, is they pretty much have reached the point where, like, they're open to things that they probably wouldn't have been open to when they were in their prime and stuff. Like him understanding that, oh, he probably has a deadly sin. He probably has this power. He understood, like, his eye and, what's needed from behind it. But maybe a younger version of him would have tried to fight him or, purify him or something stupid like that. But in his old age, he's like, okay, let me help you. Let me help you, youngin'. And I like how those things are represented. And that happens a lot in anime. I really do appreciate that. But episode 7, though, to bring it back, really represented what I wanted from this show. This episode, we had Fate fighting some old dude, partnering with him, learning some new skills, some new life skills that doesn't have anything to do with his innate power, but just like skills for himself, sword skills, hand-to-hand combat skills. And then we got to see him go and fight this boss monster, this licked monster. Got to see him get experience from that. Got to see him do some friendly competition with this guy. Like, this is what I wanted from this show. And in this show, too, like in this episode, you know, we also had the old dude who was trying to reunite with his family, kind of bring himself at peace, put his family at peace, and very touching storyline as well, too. Very sad storyline. So this is exactly what I wanted from Berserk of Gluttony, and I think it met the thing I want from this show. And episode 7 was really, really good. So those are my overall thoughts on episode number 7. I keep it short and sweet this week, but let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you're on the same page with me. Like, okay, this is kind of what I wanted from this show, or maybe you want something different. Maybe you want something a little different from Fate. You know, maybe you want more Roxy. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna see you next week, my friends. Peace out.